In this video, I'll show you a workaround to stitching a partial row at the end of your quilt if you're using 4-point placement. So I'm at the next to the last row, and I have placed my zone, and I'm ready to sew, which I'm going to pull my bobbin and sew. My computer is in simulation mode, so it would look a little bit differently than yours. In fact, if you could see over here bottom right, this little arrow, that represents my machine or where my needle would be at this point. Okay, so once you've stitched that next to the last row, you come down and select Finish Zone, proceed to Next Zone. Click Yes. Make sure your needle is up because your machine is automatically going to move to where you need to place the next marker for your last zone. Okay, so my machine moved over here to the right, which is marking A. I'm going to take a single stitch or however you mark, then go to the next mark. Your machine is going to move over to the left, and I'm going to take a mark. Okay, and now I've marked both places, left and right, where I want to align the last row so that it will stitch out evenly with my next to the last row. So select Continue. Yes, okay, make sure your needle's up, and your machine is automatically going to move to a point where you need to make sure when you get ready for this next row that your markers are either a little bit above that or right at it. I usually go a little bit above, so I would roll my quilt so that the markers are a little bit above where my needle is positioned at this point. Okay, so right now you need to go to Zone Manager. Click Yes, and we want to change how we're going to place the zone to center placement, which is down here on the right. Select Center. Okay, now select OK. No, we don't want any help moving the fabric. We'll move it ourselves. So now on your fabric or on your quilt, you have two marks. You have an A and a B. Remember, we made those just a few moments ago. So what you want to do is find the center of A and B. And to do that, you come down to the toolbox, select the ruler. Now move your machine, physically move your needle to those two marks. I'm going to put my needle on the right mark first and come down to this ruler, select the right. Now I'm going to move my machine over to the left mark, which is where I had previously marked my quilt before we rolled, and select the ruler, the left side of the ruler. Now, when you come to the bottom and select the button with the sewing machine, you will notice that it is going to tell you the exact center between the left and the right marks. So I'm going to press that now. And of course we get that needle up message. So now your machine is going to move all the way to the exact center between those two marks. And you need to mark this with a pen or a painter's tape or however you mark your quilt. Go ahead and mark that now. Then you select back. Now you need to move your machine to wherever that mark is that you just made, because that is exactly in the center. Come down here, select Center. And now if you will look at your quilt, your left and your right ends of this stitching zone should match exactly with the zone that you stitched previously. Okay, and now here's our original issue. Let's say you over measured or under measured or whatever. I've done that myself. And your quilt is actually ending about right here, which is several inches worth of stitches that you don't want to stitch out. You want it to just cut off right here. So the way to do that is move your machine to the bottom of your quilt where you want it to stop stitching that last row, and then come down to the bottom and select these diamonds. And now your screen will turn pink. And that's okay. It's fine. It's just showing that it's not going to stitch anything below this line right here. Excuse me. So now when you move your machine over to this point, pull your bobbin, and then when you sew, You can see how it is just going to stitch the everything except what you did not want it to stitch. And when it gets to the areas like right here, the machine is just going to stitch a straight line to the next point of where it needs to keep stitching. So I hope this helps you. Janet George helped me figure out this center placement, and it is a much more precise way than using your own ruler. So I hope that this video will help you.